In this video, I want to show you how you can both set up and mix in-ear monitors for your band or musicians on stage using an analog mixing console like this one here. Now, I have here set up a praise and worship mix from my church. I already mixed that in my previous video. So I've got here a kick drum, a snare drum, a lead vocal, bass guitar, mono keys, mono tracks, a stereo drum overhead and toms, as well as backing vocals into these last stereo channels. And this is what it sounds like from the main outputs, which is similar to what you will hear if you're mixing for the house. Now, a musician would not really be interested in listening to all of the channels that comes into the mixing console. They just want to hear a few sufficient enough to make them play at their best. Now, it is your job as the monitor engineer or the person mixing their ears to be able to understand what the sounds they need to hear and to be able to give it to them at the level they need to hear them. Now, if you're working with professional musicians, they probably would already understand what they need and they will tell you how they need it in their ears. So you probably should trust your musicians with their mix just as they trust you with the front of house mix. However, as a sound engineer, you also need to be able to understand, or you should have a clue as to, this is the kind of mix I want to give to them even before they ask, and you can create something for them, and when they hear it, they probably will be okay with it. Now, the main output or the main mix as it's labeled in this mixing console is used to mix for the main house or the front of house, the main speakers that the audience listen to, and then use auxiliary mixes, aux to mix for the musicians to mix their ears. You also use aux to mix the stage monitors, the wedges on stage. You use those same aux to mix the musicians' ears. Now, one thing about analog mixing consoles is that auxiliary sends are mono sends, so you really can't create a stereo mix, stereo in-ear monitor mixes with auxiliary send. You can, but you then have to use two auxiliaries at once, and it's very tricky because each of them have different level controls, and you need to vary the level controls to be able to create like a different signal in your right channel and a different signal in your left channel, which is not very practical, and then you'll be wasting auxiliary send. So what I want to show you in this video is just to create mono auxiliary mixes as your in-ear monitor mixes. It's fine, you can get a very good sound at that, even though I advocate that if you're doing in-ear monitor, if you can, do a stereo mix. It's doable with digital mixing console, and it's very easy to do that with digital console. So with analog console, let's just stick to creating a mono in-ear monitor mix. So how do we go about that? The first thing you need to do is to be able to determine the auxiliary send you want to use to send to your musicians, and to be able to connect the output of those auxiliary sends into a headphone amplifiers, because you can't connect your headphone directly into the output. What comes out of these consoles are called line level signals. So that's what you get from your auxiliary. So you connect those line level signals to a headphone amplifier. There are a bunch of them out there, cheap ones. In my video where I talked about how I've set up in-ear monitors in my church, I showed the Behringer P1, which you use. It's a stereo in-ear monitor headphone amplifier, but you can also use as a mono. Just connect one input to the left channel, it becomes a mono headphone amplifier. There are a bunch of them out there. There's the Behringer P2, which is a mono one, and you just connect the output of your auxiliary send to that. Now, the auxiliary send you want to use has to be a pre-fader auxiliary send. Pre-fader auxiliary send simply means the sound that is going to your IEM, to your in-ear monitor via the auxiliary send, is independent of the sound that is going to your main speakers. So whatever you do in your fader here at the main speaker, at the main mix rather, doesn't affect what is going into your auxiliary send. So you want to use a pre-fader. In this mixing console, auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2, you can configure them as pre or post fader. So what I'll do here is I'll hit this button here. When I depress this button, the auxiliary send for that channel becomes a pre-fader auxiliary send. So I'm going to make all of my auxiliary send in my channel, aux 1 and 2, pre-fader auxiliary sends. Aux 3 and 4 in this console are post-fader sends by default. You can't switch them to pre-fader sends. So you really wouldn't want to use this to create in-ear monitor mixes. For bigger analog mixing console, you can have up to 6 auxiliary send, 4 auxiliary send that are pre-fader, or 6 auxiliary send that are pre-fader. The console I used earlier on in my channel, the Yamaha MG32 or 24 /14FX, has 4 pre-fader auxiliary sends. So let's assume we've got 2 and we're using for creating mix for 2 musicians, or 3. Say the drummer and the bass guitar player are going to be sharing one mix, while the keyboard player is going to have his own mix. So we use aux1 for our drummer and our bass guitar player because they can use the same mix. And then we use aux2 for our keyboard player. Connect aux1 to headphone amplifier, split it to 2 headphone amplifier, one for the bass guitar player, the other for the drummer. aux2 we connect to a headphone amplifier, and then we give that to the keyboard player. Set gain all the levels of the headphone amplifier fine. Put in pre-fader in all of our channels we want to send to the headphone amplifier, and we turn our aux send master level to say unity. I'm just putting it here in the 12 o'clock position. What I want to do here, so you hear, is I'll solo each of these auxiliary sends, and then when I solo anyone, you're able to hear it in the video as I'm able to hear it here in my headphone amplifier, and then you see how the mix works. So let's start with aux1, which is what we have for our drummer. What I want to do for our drummer, ideally the drummer wants to be able to hear the drums. The drummer also wants to be able to hear the tracks, because the track has helps the drummer with tempo. It has like some click or loop. In this situation, it has the loop, and it has some certain other instruments to it. So the drummer has to hear the loop very loudly, probably even louder than the drums, because the drums, acoustic sound of the drums are kind of okay in the house and just a little bit more. So the loop is a priority to give to the drummer, and of course the drummer is sharing the same mix with the bass guitar in this situation. It doesn't have to be, but that's what we have here. So the loop, the bass guitar, the drums, the lead vocal, and then the keyboard. That's what we're really interested in order of priority as to what the drummer wants to hear. The drummer and the bass guitar player are not interested in hearing the backing vocals, the backup, so we're not even going to bother about that. So let's start. What you're currently hearing is what we have in the house. So let me solo aux1. Nothing is really coming in now. So the first thing I want to give to the drummer is the loop, which is like kind of going to be our loudest signal. So we're going to set that first to a level that we feel is okay and mix everything relative to that. Here's our loop. That's what we want. So let me bring the drums in. The kick. That's the kick. The snare. And the rest of the drum kit. And the bass guitar. Lead vocal. The lead vocal channel doesn't have to be very loud, just enough for the instrumentalist, the drummer and the bassist to hear her enough to flow. And then the keyboard as well. Where is it? A little bit. So this is our drummer's mix. This is our house mix. It's kind of different. For the house mix, we have trying to get everything balanced, the lead vocal, the backing vocals has to be heard. Everything else have to be kind of under the vocals. But what the drummer and the bass guitar player are hearing are very different. So let's listen to that again. Totally different. So let's create a mix for the keyboard player. For the keyboard player's mix, the keys has to be like the loudest, the keys and the tracks, and then everything else has to fit into that kind of to complement that. So I'll solo the channel for aux2 so we can hear it, and the tracks again I'll start from there, and then the keyboard player's channel. And then I'll bring in the drums as well. Doesn't have to be all that loud. And of course the bass guitar. And the lead singer. Let's listen to the drummer and the bassist mix. I think we need bass more in this mix. Keyboards mix. And the house mix. And let me just take out this time to mention that the videos I've been making lately have been inspired by members of this channel. So thank you guys. If you're here to become a channel member, do consider joining. The link is in the description. With channel membership, you're supporting this channel and you also are guaranteed to get some amazing exclusive benefits and perks from me. If you've got burning questions or you have some video you really want me to make, with channel membership, I'm definitely going to consider making those videos and I will answer your questions for sure. So join the channel. Again, it is linked in the description. If you want to also take your audio engineering skills to the next level, I've got the right course for you, the fundamentals of live audio engineering. Sign up with the link in the description. It's an amazing course I've created with a practical approach to take you into a professional level. And yeah, you really should check it out. It's linked again in the description. Basically, that's the idea on how to set mix in-ear monitors for your band on stage. Now, like I said, mentioned earlier, you need to trust your musicians with their mix. They might cannot tell you weird things they want to hear in their mix that doesn't really make sense to you, because you're used to mixing in the house and trying to make sure everything's well balanced in the house. So trust them what they hear in their mix, because it gives them more confidence to play better and gives you something good to work with for the front of house. They trust you with the front of house mix anyway, so trust them with their mix. In the next video, I want to show you how you can also add a talkback microphone into this mix and get the musicians to be able to hear each other without having the talkback microphone sound coming into the main front of house speakers. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for sticking around till the end of this video. I'm Kelvin. I'll catch you in that video. Bye for now.